8 UK cars. People are told to admire, but owning them can quietly become a financial mistake. Many develop serious faults between 60,000 and 100,000 miles, with single repairs costing £3,000 to $10,000. This video breaks down the engines, electronics, and ownership traps that turn these cars from desirable purchases into long-term liabilities. 1. Range Rover Evoque. The Range Rover Evoque is bought all over the world for the same reason. It looks like a safe entry into luxury. It is compact, stylish, and carries the Range Rover name without the size or price of the bigger models. People assume it offers premium quality in a manageable package. That assumption is the first problem. The Evoque builds confidence before evidence, and that confidence travels globally. Underneath the design, the mechanical reality is far less reassuring. Many Evoques use Ingenium diesel engines, which have shown repeated issues over time. Short journeys, stop-start driving, and urban use cause oil dilution, where fuel mixes into the engine oil. This reduces lubrication and increases internal wear without obvious early warning. Timing chain and bearing problems have appeared well before owners expect them. These are not isolated cases. They show up across markets, climates, and driving styles. The second layer of risk comes from electronics. The Evoque depends heavily on software, screens, sensors, and electronic modules to operate basic functions. Infotainment systems freeze, parking sensors fail, door locks and warning systems behave unpredictably. These issues rarely strand the car immediately. Instead, they create a pattern of constant visits, repeated diagnostics, and partial fixes. The car continues to run, but ownership becomes stressful and expensive. Costs escalate quickly once warranty protection ends. Electrical faults are time-consuming to trace and costly to repair. Engine issues rarely arrive alone. When one problem appears, others often follow. Depreciation is steep, meaning the car loses value faster than the cost of keeping it healthy. Owners are frequently left choosing between large repair bills or accepting heavy financial loss. The most dangerous part is perception. The Evoque feels solid, refined, and reassuring when new. That feeling delays action. Service is postponed. Early warnings are ignored. By the time the risk becomes visible, the owner is already committed. The Evoque does not fail loudly or early. It fails once trust has settled in. The next vehicle takes these weaknesses further, making the financial risk impossible to justify under any circumstances. 2. Jaguar XE. The Jaguar XE is sold worldwide as a smart alternative to German sports saloons. It promises sharp handling, refined looks, and a premium driving feel without the usual luxury price tag. Being a UK-branded car adds heritage and credibility. Buyers believe they are choosing something engineered for balance and performance, not excess. That belief creates confidence early, and confidence is exactly what keeps people buying this car despite what follows. Mechanically, the XE carries serious long-term risks. Many versions use Ingenium petrol and diesel engines, and these engines have shown repeated problems over time. Balance shaft wear, timing issues, and oil dilution appear earlier than expected. These faults do not always show up as sudden failures. Instead, performance slowly drops, warning lights appear intermittently, and repairs become unavoidable once mileage climbs. Electronics deepen the problem. The XE relies on complex software systems to manage driving modes, infotainment, and core vehicle functions. Owners report screens freezing, sensors failing, and software updates causing new faults instead of fixing old ones. These problems are not market-specific. They appear across regions, climates, and usage patterns. Diagnostics are time-consuming, and repairs are rarely simple or cheap. Depreciation makes everything worse. The XE loses value quickly, often faster than rivals. That means owners face a harsh reality after warranty ends. A major repair can easily cost more than the car is worth. Many people feel trapped, choosing between expensive fixes or selling at a heavy loss. Ownership turns into damage control, not enjoyment. What makes the XE especially risky is how good it feels early on. It drives well. It feels planted and refined. That delays action. Servicing gets stretched. Early symptoms are ignored. By the time problems become clear, the financial commitment is already made. The XE does not punish buyers immediately, it waits. Unlike many cars, this is not a case of bad luck or poor maintenance. The pattern is consistent. The XE is a vehicle that performs well short-term and degrades long-term. For buyers anywhere in the world, this is not a safe bet. It is a gamble with poor odds. What comes next goes beyond fragile electronics and engine wear, creating risks so severe they overwhelm even careful owners. 3. Range Rover Sport. The Range Rover Sport is sold worldwide as a high-status performance SUV. People buy it because it promises power, luxury, and strength in one package. On paper, it looks unstoppable. Depending on the version, it comes with 3.0-liter and 5.0-liter engines, producing anywhere from 300 to over 500 horsepower. It can weigh 2.3 to 2.5 tons, yet still claims strong acceleration. Those numbers impress buyers and create the belief that this is serious engineering built to last. The problem starts with complexity. The Range Rover Sport uses air suspension on all four corners, advanced terrain systems, and layers of electronic control. Air suspension alone is a known failure point. Compressors, air struts, and height sensors regularly fail as mileage increases. One air suspension repair can easily cost £2,000 to $4,000, sometimes more, and that is before labor in certain markets. These failures are not rare. They are expected over time. Engines add another layer of risk. Several diesel versions have suffered from crankshaft and bearing failures, sometimes before 100,000 miles. When this happens, it is not a repair. It is often a full engine replacement. Petrol versions avoid some diesel issues but introduce others, including cooling system failures and timing problems. High-output engines running heavy bodies create stress that builds quietly. Electronics make ownership worse. The Sport depends on dozens of control modules managing suspension, drivetrain, infotainment, and safety systems. Faults rarely come alone. A sensor failure can trigger warning lights across the dashboard, forcing long diagnostic sessions. Software updates do not always solve the problem. Sometimes they create new ones. Running costs stay high regardless of age. Insurance premiums reflect repair history. Fuel consumption is heavy, often 18 to 22 miles per gallon, which adds constant expense. Depreciation is brutal. Many owners discover that after a few years, the cost to repair exceeds the value of the vehicle. At that point, ownership stops making sense. The most dangerous thing about the Range Rover Sport is how convincing it is early on. It drives smoothly. It feels solid. That delays reality. But once warranty protection ends, the numbers stop working. Power and luxury cannot compensate for repeated, expensive failures. What follows removes any illusion of balance, combining fragility and cost in a way that makes ownership indefensible. 4. Jaguar XF. The Jaguar XF is sold worldwide as a refined executive saloon with British character. Buyers choose it because it looks calm, mature, and well-balanced. It promises comfort, presence, and performance without shouting about it. On paper, it feels like the sensible Jaguar. That calm image is exactly what lowers people's guard. Technically, the XF offers 2.0-liter Ingenium petrol and diesel engines with power outputs typically between 180 and 300 horsepower, paired with automatic gearboxes. On the road, it feels smooth and composed. Many owners believe this smoothness means mechanical health. In reality, it often means problems are being hidden rather than avoided. The Ingenium engines are the core issue. Both petrol and diesel versions have shown recurring problems over time. Oil dilution is common, especially in cars used for short journeys. Fuel mixes into the oil, reducing lubrication and accelerating wear inside the engine. Timing chain and balance shaft issues have appeared well before owners expect them, sometimes before 80,000 to 100,000 miles. These are not simple fixes. They are expensive, invasive repairs. Electronics add another layer of risk. The XF relies on a network of control modules for infotainment, driver assistance, and basic vehicle systems. As the car ages, faults become more frequent. Screens freeze, sensors misread data, warning lights appear without clear causes. Diagnosing these problems often takes longer than fixing them, and costs rise quickly because specialist tools are required. Depreciation makes everything worse. The XF loses value rapidly. This creates a trap. Owners reach a point where a major repair costs more than the car is worth. Selling becomes painful. Fixing becomes irrational. Many people keep driving with unresolved faults simply because the numbers no longer make sense. The Jaguar XF is dangerous because it does not feel risky. It feels composed, grown up, and reliable. That feeling delays action. Servicing is stretched. Early signs are ignored. By the time the reality becomes clear, ownership has already turned into a financial compromise rather than a choice. The next car abandons subtle failure and introduces problems so obvious and costly that even early ownership becomes hard to defend. 5. Mini Cooper hatchback. The Mini Cooper hatchback is bought for emotion before logic. It looks fun, feels premium for its size, and carries a strong British identity that sells everywhere in the world. People expect a small, clever car that is easy to own and cheap to run. That expectation is where the problem begins. The Mini feels playful and light, which makes buyers assume it is mechanically simple. It is not. Modern Mini Coopers use turbocharged petrol engines, most commonly 1.5-liter 3-cylinder or 2.0-liter 4-cylinder units. Power ranges from around 134 to over 190 horsepower, which is a lot for a small, light car. That performance comes at a cost. Turbo engines in tight engine bays run hot. Heat accelerates wear on oil, seals, and timing components. Earlier generations were known for timing chain failures, and while later models improved, oil consumption and cooling-related issues still appear as mileage builds. The gearbox does not help. Many models use dual-clutch or automatic transmissions that feel smooth early on, but become expensive to repair later. These gearboxes rely on clean fluid and precise calibration. Small delays in servicing cause big problems. Repairs are rarely cheap, and replacement costs can shock owners who expected city car bills. The second issue is packaging. The Mini's compact design means very limited space for repairs. Simple jobs take longer. Labor costs rise quickly. Suspension components also wear faster than expected because the car is stiffly set up. On poor roads, bushes, shocks, and tires take constant punishment. The car still drives well, but it slowly becomes noisy, harsh, and costly to keep tight. Electronics add quiet frustration. Infotainment glitches, sensor warnings, and electrical faults are common as the car ages. None of these failures alone feel serious. Together, they turn ownership into a series of visits rather than reliable daily use. Depreciation seals the outcome. Once warranty protection ends, repair costs rise while resale value drops. Owners are left maintaining a car that feels premium but ages like a stressed performance vehicle. The Mini Cooper is not unreliable by accident. It is designed for short-term enjoyment, not long-term calm ownership. It rewards early years and punishes patience. Before we proceed further, subscribe, like, and comment why you like this video for a chance to win a new Apple MacBook. What comes next takes this same performance-first mindset and pushes it further, creating even higher heat, stress, and ownership risk. 6. Jaguar F-Type. The Jaguar F-Type is sold as a pure driver's car. Long bonnet, loud exhaust, dramatic looks. It promises emotion first and responsibility later. Buyers expect a weekend machine that feels special every time it is started. That promise is exactly why the risks are underestimated. The F-Type is not built to age quietly. It is built to impress early. Technically, the F-Type uses high-output petrol engines, most commonly 3.0-liter supercharged V6 and 5.0-liter supercharged V8 units. Power ranges from roughly 340 horsepower to well over 550 horsepower. Those numbers come with heat, pressure, and stress. These engines run hot by design. Cooling systems work constantly, and any weakness in hoses, pumps, or radiators becomes expensive quickly. Heat does not cause instant failure. It shortens lifespans silently. Gearboxes add another layer. The F-Type relies on performance-tuned automatic transmissions calibrated for aggressive driving. They feel sharp when new, but they are intolerant of neglect. Fluid degradation, software issues, and calibration faults show up as jerky shifts and hesitation as mileage builds. Repairs are specialist jobs. There are no cheap shortcuts. Electronics amplify the risk. The F-Type depends on multiple control modules managing suspension, exhaust valves, driving modes, and infotainment. As the car ages, faults become unpredictable. Sensors misread data. Warning lights appear without consistent causes. Diagnostics take time, and time costs money. Owners often pay for investigation before repair even begins. Logically, depreciation makes everything worse. The F-Type loses value rapidly after the first few years. That creates a dangerous mismatch. Repair costs remain high because parts and labor are performance level, while resale value drops into territory where spending no longer makes sense. One major issue can exceed a large percentage of the car's remaining value. The F-Type feels strong because it sounds strong. Noise, speed, and drama hide wear. Owners drive it harder because it encourages that behavior. Heat cycles increase, components age faster. By the time problems surface, they arrive together. This is not a car that fails because it is badly made. It fails because it is designed around performance, not endurance. Enjoyment is front-loaded. Consequences are delayed. What follows removes even the illusion of balance, combining age, cost, and fragility into a level of ownership risk that few people are truly prepared for. 7. Aston Martin DB9. The Aston Martin DB9 is bought for what it represents. It looks timeless, sounds powerful, and carries a level of prestige few cars can match. Buyers see it as a grand tourer, not a fragile sports car. They believe it was built to cruise effortlessly for years. That belief is where the danger begins. The DB9 is admired as an object, not questioned as a machine. Technically, the DB9 uses a 5.9-liter naturally aspirated V12 engine, producing around 450 horsepower. On paper, a large V12 sounds relaxed and understressed. In reality, it creates constant heat and complexity. 12 cylinders mean 12 ignition systems, more sensors, more cooling demands, and more things that can fail. Even minor faults become expensive because access is limited and labor time is high. The gearbox adds further risk. Many DB9s use automated or conventional automatic transmissions that were never designed for low-cost servicing. Clutch wear, gearbox control issues, and calibration faults appear as the car ages. Repairs are not routine. They require specialists, and parts are neither quick nor cheap to source. There is no budget version of a V12 problem. Electronics are another weak point. The DB9 was advanced for its time, but aging technology does not age gracefully. Infotainment systems fail. Sensors misbehave. Electrical glitches appear without clear patterns. Diagnosing these issues often costs thousands before anything is even replaced. Software support fades as the car gets older, leaving owners stuck with outdated systems and limited fixes. Logically, the ownership numbers never add up long-term. Fuel consumption is heavy, insurance remains high, servicing costs stay premium even as the car's value drops. Depreciation is steep. A DB9 can lose more than half its value while still demanding 5-figure repair bills when something goes wrong. Owners often reach a point where maintaining the car costs more per year than it is worth. The DB9 is most dangerous because it does not feel fragile. It feels solid, smooth, and refined. That delays caution. Small issues are ignored. Maintenance is postponed. When failures finally surface, they do not arrive alone. They arrive stacked. This is not a car for careful ownership. It is a car for continuous spending. For most buyers, anywhere in the world, that makes it a financial liability disguised as a dream. The next car removes even the safety of refinement, exposing weakness the moment real-world use begins. 8. Lotus Elise. The Lotus Elise is sold as a pure driving machine. Lightweight, simple, and focused. People buy it believing less weight means fewer problems. They see it as honest engineering, free from luxury systems and unnecessary tech. That idea is appealing, and it is also misleading. The Elise is not fragile because it is complex. It is fragile because it is extremely specialized. Technically, most Elise models use small petrol engines, commonly 1.8-liter units sourced from Toyota, producing between 134 and 220 horsepower depending on version. On paper, that sounds sensible. The problem is not the engine alone, it is what surrounds it. The Elise uses a bonded aluminum chassis, lightweight suspension, and minimal insulation. Everything is built to save weight, not to survive daily wear. Because the car is so light, components take more direct stress. Suspension parts, bushes, and joints wear faster, especially on uneven roads. The ride is stiff. Tires wear quickly. Alignment needs constant attention. These are not faults. They are consequences of the design. The Elise performs best when driven occasionally and carefully, not regularly and casually. Build quality is another issue. Panels are thin, interiors are basic, water leaks are common, seals degrade quickly, switches and trim wear out far sooner than in normal cars. None of this stops the car immediately, but it makes ownership tiring. Over time, the Elise feels unfinished rather than focused. Practical use exposes the limits fast. There is very little ground clearance. Speed bumps, rough roads, and daily obstacles become risks. Heating, visibility, and comfort are poor. The car demands attention every time it is used. Missed maintenance shows up quickly because there is no margin built in. Logically, the Elise only works for a narrow type of owner. Someone with space, tools, patience, and money for constant upkeep. For everyone else, costs build quietly. Small fixes are frequent. Labor is specialized. Parts are limited. What looks like simplicity turns into continuous intervention. The Lotus Elise is not unreliable by accident. It is unreliable by context. It was never meant to be lived with daily. For most buyers, it becomes exhausting rather than rewarding, and that makes it a car to admire, not to own.